At 5:45 a.m. on March 1st, 2026, Iranian state television announced what decades of policy had been quietly preparing for: the death of Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. Within hours, every major outlet declared a power vacuum. But here is what nobody is telling you: there is no vacuum. There never was going to be one. And the real agenda unfolding behind 40 days of mourning has almost nothing to do with grief. Ali Khamenei's tenure began in 1989, but the position he occupied was never just ceremonial. For nearly 4 decades, every major lever of Iranian power, military, economic, ideological, ran through his office. Who could authorize the appointment of the IRGC's commander-in-chief? Only the supreme leader, by constitutional decree. Who set the red lines for the nuclear program, from the first centrifuge at Natanz to the 2015 JCPOA approval? Again, Khamenei, often through handwritten directives relayed to the Supreme National Security Council. Why did the heads of the Judiciary, the Guardian Council, and the sprawling bonyads all answer to one man? Because the Supreme Leader's signature could make or unmake careers, fortunes, and even laws. What does it mean when a single figure holds the power to appoint, dismiss, and direct the country's most formidable security apparatus? When the same office defines the ideological boundaries of public life, from who leads Friday prayers to what is taught in the seminaries? The answer is neither simply autocracy nor theocracy, but a fusion, an institutional design where the absence of one person leaves not just a symbolic void, but a logistical crisis. Every chain of command, every budget line in the IRGC, every broadcast on state television ultimately traced back to Khamenei's authority. So when state television announced his death, the real question was not who would mourn, but how the system would redistribute the power that, for a generation, was concentrated in a single node. What happens when that node disappears, but the machinery remains fully intact? 40 days. That is the period set by decree, echoing a tradition that predates the Islamic Republic by centuries. But who decided that mourning must last exactly 40 days? In Shia Islam, Arba'in marks the culmination of grief for the Prophet's family, a time when the community gathers, reflects, and then moves forward. In 1989, after the death of Ayatollah Khomeini, the state issued a similar 40-day mourning order, not as a mere gesture of respect, but as a calculated pause, a breathing space for the machinery of power to rewire itself. What does it mean when the calendar itself becomes the field of negotiation? The language of the current decree is almost clinical. 40 days of official mourning, all public entertainment suspended, sermons to be delivered nationwide. Yet, behind these formalities, every actor knows the real deadline. The Assembly of Experts, the IRGC, the Judiciary, each has 40 days to secure alliances, to test loyalties, to rewrite the narrative before the public face of succession is revealed. Does grief really need a timetable, or is time itself the lever by which uncertainty is managed? In Iran, the clock does not just count down to a new leader. It sets the tempo for every hidden bargain, every whispered promise, every line of the story that will be told when the mourning ends. The 40-day window is not a pause, it is a signal. When the decree expires, the mask of unity must be ready to slip back into place. While Iran observes 40 days of mourning, its regional networks strain under pressure. In Lebanon, Hezbollah's supply lines falter, not from sudden attacks, but from months of fuel shortages, disrupted remittances, and a quiet decline in Iranian shipments. Gaza's Hamas waits, uncertain if Tehran's new leadership will keep credit and weapons flowing. Yemen's Houthis pledge loyalty, but their messages double as pleas for reassurance. The question lingers. When Tehran's center wavers, even briefly, what happens to those who depend on its support? Diplomats mark the 15th of March when the International Atomic Energy Agency arrives in Tehran for a scheduled inspection. The date is loaded with meaning, as each side wonders if the interim council will uphold Khamenei's red lines or shift course. Oil markets react instantly, a 4% price spike in a single day, not from violence, but from the risk of uncertainty. In this climate, continuity in Tehran is more than tradition. It is the only safeguard against regional instability. A perimeter of armored vehicles, drawn tight around the Supreme Leader's compound, signals more than just a response to crisis. What does it mean when the first visible reaction to a leader's death is the silent arrival of the elite units of the IRGC, not just at the residence but along every major artery in central Tehran? Satellite imagery from the early hours of March 1st shows overlapping cordons at 35.701 north, 51.418 east. These coordinates match both the compound and the route to Imam Khomeini Hospital. This is not improvisation, it is choreography. IRGC commanders, among them Brigadier General Mohammad Pakpour, are seen conferring at the compound's southern gate while Basij detachments establish street-level checkpoints. Why deploy such overwhelming force when no organized unrest has yet appeared? The answer lies in the logic of deterrence, to project calm, not by persuasion, but by the visible weight of readiness. The Basij, equipped for riot control, take up positions at metro exits and government squares. Routine is suspended, civilian traffic is rerouted, mobile networks are briefly throttled, and even hospital access is filtered through security layers. Is this a show of strength or a rehearsal for something more? In this environment, the machinery of state does not pause, it closes ranks. The message is clear to those watching from within and without. The system's guardians remain on post, their authority uninterrupted, their presence a physical barrier against the unpredictable. The levers of power are not left unattended, not for a moment. On March 4th, Iran's largest bank linked to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps filed paperwork naming a new board of directors, clerics drawn from the Assembly of Experts and the Interim Leadership Council. The move placed religious authority at the heart of financial decision-making, signaling a shift in how loyalty is secured. 2 days later, a reconstruction contract worth $1.2 billion for northern Tehran went to the Mojtaba Khamenei Development Group, a consortium with no prior public record, now partnered with Khatam ol Ansar, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps' economic powerhouse. These choices reveal a pattern. Economic resources are being steered toward those most trusted by the new leadership. The U.S. Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control list, updated March 7th, now names these actors for their role in regime financing. Yet, sanctions only scratch the surface. Inside Iran, contracts and board seats are handed out to cement alliances, ensuring both money and narrative remain tightly controlled. Media agencies, suddenly flush with funds from state banks, amplify the message. In this system, power is consolidated not just by decree, but by the careful distribution of wealth and influence. In the hours after Khamenei's death, state media bureau chiefs moved quickly. Every IRIB bulletin, telegram channel, and Friday sermon echoed the same lines. The revolution continues. The leader's path endures. The nation stands united. The message was not just repeated, it was enforced. On Telegram, mourning posts flooded in, but beneath the surface, 18% came from automated accounts. This bot-driven surge wasn't accidental. It was a deliberate effort to crowd out doubt, to make uncertainty invisible. Algorithms, not just broadcasters, set the emotional tone, ensuring the official story dominated every conversation. Meanwhile, a photograph of Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov arriving in Tehran on March 5th appeared across official channels. The image was more than a diplomatic gesture. It signaled outside approval, a carefully timed reassurance that foreign partners stood ready to recognize the new order. With fresh funding from regime-linked banks, media chiefs sharpened their focus. The mourning period became a stage for narrative control, where legitimacy hinged not on tradition or force, but on whose story the world believed. In this contest, perception was the real currency of power. When a single figure disappears from the center of a system built on his authority, what do those who depend on his shadow do next? Not what most outsiders expect. Instead of lashing out or scrambling for position, Iran's most powerful actors pause deliberately, almost ritualistically. Hezbollah's command in Beirut transmits a 48-hour halt on cross-border operations, citing respect for the mourning decree. Hamas and the Houthis, usually eager to claim the mantle of resistance, release statements that echo Tehran's official language but avoid new escalations. Iraqi militias issue joint communiques urging calm and warning against foreign interference. Is this paralysis, or is it something else? Diplomatic channels in Oman and Qatar turn cautious, quietly postponing scheduled talks. Oil traders watch for sudden moves, but the region's proxies hold their fire. Why? In these first days, restraint is not a sign of weakness or confusion. It is a calculated holding pattern. Every actor waits, measuring the new balance before making a move. The surface calm is not the absence of conflict, but the discipline of those who know the real contest unfolds behind closed doors, not on the battlefield. 3 signals will reveal how Iran's power map is being redrawn in the next 60 days. First, watch for the formal announcement of a new supreme leader, or, failing that, the extension of the interim council. This is not just a name, but a statement of which faction controls the legal process. Second, track the appointment calendar for the IRGC, Commander-in-Chief. If the role goes to a hardline loyalist, continuity prevails. If a technocrat or judiciary figure appears, it hints at a pragmatic pivot. Third, analyze the tone of state media. Does the language stay fixed on revolutionary resistance, or does it shift toward economic reconstruction and stability? These signals are not random. They are the fingerprints of a system choosing between hardline continuity and a cautious, technocratic adjustment. The real contest is not an open struggle, but a silent calibration of power, visible only to those who know where to look. The next 60 days are a test. Who will shape the narrative, and who will simply follow it? Power resists the vacuum. It rearranges itself behind closed doors. If the 40-day mourning period engineers stability, what else can be engineered? As oil prices spike and foreign envoys quietly realign, the real question emerges. Who writes the official history, and who benefits when the world accepts it? Share your thoughts below.